Magandang araw po sa ating lahat. Magandang araw po sa lahat po ng ating mga subscribers, and of course sa lahat po ng mga nanonood ngayon ng atin pong PTech video na may kinalaman po dito sa DepEd Order number 15 series of 2026. Ito na nga po mga ka-PTech, no, sa lahat po ng ating mga fellow teachers na nakikinig, nanonood po ngayon, and of course sa ating mga fellow school heads. Ganun din po sa lahat ng mga interested, no, na malaman po ang mga detalye nitong pong ating pinaka-latest, no, na ah, guidelines on classroom assessment. Andito na po tayo sa ating DepEd Order number 15 series of 2026. Muli po, magandang araw. Ako po si Sir Willie, ang inyo pong lead trainer, no, ng ating Polaris Training and Education Consultancy o ang ating pong PTech Training Center. So mahalaga na pag-usapan po natin ito, no, yung ating DepEd Order number 15 kasi for the school year, ito na po yung ating susundan, no? Ito na po yung ating gagamitin na guidelines on classroom assessment, grading system, and of course yung awards and recognition para po sa ating K-12 basic education program. Alright, so muli po, magandang araw sa ating lahat, and of course, shoutout po sa lahat po ng ating mga latest na mga subscribers ng ating pong PTech YouTube channel. No, ito na po yung ating DepEd Order number 15, no, series of 2026. Ito po ay na-release noong June 4, 2026. Saktong-sakto lang sa pagbubukas ng ating panibagong school year. At ito po, no, hina-highlight dito yung ating number 1, yung revised guidelines on classroom assessment, grading systems, and awards and recognition for the revised K-12 basic education program. So malinaw na binabanggit po dyan that this DepEd order is encompassing, no, yung mga iba't ibang mga separate na DepEd orders na usually ay ini-release, no. So parang there are, I think, 3 na DepEd orders na mare-repeal or mare-rescind, no, dito po sa release ng ating DepEd order number 15. So una na diyan, no, yung ating DepEd order number 8 series of 2015 ay ito na po ay repealed na, no. So nitong panibagong DepEd order na ito. Ganun din po yung DepEd order number 36, no, series of 2016, kung di ako nagkakamali sa date na yan. So and then of course yung interim guidelines on assessment, no, na ipinalabas during the pandemic, ito din po ay na-repeal na, no, gamit po itong DepEd order na ito. So kung makikita natin yung ating item number 3, no, so binabanggit po dito, no, yung yung school year, no. So this will be implemented for the school year 2026 2027 in all public elementary and secondary schools nationwide, consistent with the phased implementation of the revised curriculum. So yan po yung mga kailangan po natin na tignan, no. Syempre yung mga non-DepEd schools are encouraged to adopt these guidelines. They may modify. So again, however, that would be subject to the approval of the DepEd Regional Office. Okay. Special programs may issue supplementary guidelines to address their unique assessment needs, provided that this will remain consistent, no, with the core principles of the guidelines. Okay. So ito yung binabanggit natin that na-repeal na po, no, yung DepEd order number 8 series of 2015, ganun din po yung DepEd order number 36 series of 2016 na may kinalaman po kay policy guidelines on awards and recognition. Okay? So mga kapitek, pinapakita po natin dito yung mismong DepEd order, no? At hindi po ito yung mga lifted na para nang sa ganun ay saktong-sakto yung magiging terms, no, na gagamitin po natin at walang labis, walang kulang, no, yung paggamit po natin. Okay? Siyempre sa lahat po ng mga teachers na nakikinig ngayon at manonood po nitong video, sundan po mabuti dahil ito po ay pwede niyong magamit, paulit-ulit niyong mapanood dito nang sa ganun ay you will be guided on the different complexities maybe, no, and the different technicalities ng implementation po ng DepEd Order number 15. Okay? So, the rationale, the implementation of the revised kindergarten to grade 10 and the strengthened senior high school curriculum. So, magkakasabay nga po na nailabas ito, no, yung ating DepEd orders na yan, necessitates corresponding improvements in the classroom assessment, grading, and the recognition practices. Of course, this has something to do with some of the issues that are being mentioned or being pointed out, no, by different groups na may kinalaman po kay yung mga challenges, no, in grading and recognition practices, kabilang na po yung binabanggit natin na grade inflation, no. So ibig sabihin nito, matataas ang grado ng mga bata pero hindi naman pala nami-meet yung mga basic competencies na kinakailangan po nila na ma-meet, no. So and of course yung over-reliance, no, on transmutation. Well, we have to admit na yung transmutation na nagamit ay medyo, sabihin na nating medyo ano siya, very generous, no? And then, kaya nga kahit na mababa yung score na makukuha based on the zero-based grading, ay kapag nilagay mo siya sa transmutation ay tataas pa rin, no? So, ganun po yung possible na mga nangyari, no? Kaya nga nagkaroon ng over-reliance on transmutation. So, ito yung mga bagay-bagay na tinigdan kaya nga po nagkaroon ng revision ng ating grading system. Okay? And of course, yung limited use of assessment evidence, no, to inform the instruction. So these issues weaken the credibility and developmental purpose of grades and highlight the need for fair, transparent, and evidence-based practices. So very critical yung item number 3 na ito para dito sa ating rational. Okay? So again, kung titignan natin yung item number 4 naman, so it harmonizes, no? So binabanggit nga natin yung DepEd Order number 8 na repeal na, DepEd Order number 36 na repeal na rin. Ganon din dito yung binabanggit natin na DepEd Order number 31. So ito yung interim guidelines in the light of the learning continuity plan during the pandemic. So lahat ng yun nagbago na, no? So ito na po yung mga na-repeal kasi pinagsama na nga in one DepEd order. So yung mga policies and guidelines na may kinalaman kay awards and recognition ay embedded na rin po dito sa ating DepEd Order number 15 series of 2026. Okay? So all public schools will have to implement this one beginning the school year 2026-2027. May mga nagtatanong sa atin kung kasama ba or i-implement na ba ito for this school year. Ito na po, malinaw yung pagkabanggit dito sa ating scope and coverage na yes, no? This will have to be implemented for the school year 2026-2027. Okay? This order provides guidance on assessment practices across all key stages and covers both formative and summative components of classroom-based assessment. Okay? Ayan. So, yan po yung ating nabanggit dyan, no, na parte ng scope and coverage. Okay? So, mga salient provisions lang, no, yung babanggitin lang po natin dito. So, if you're going to look at it, dito sa definition of terms, meron na siyang mga recognize na mga terms na alam naman natin na ginagawa na natin ito sa ating mga schools. Yung tinatawag na academic deliberations, we're doing this, no, at the end of the school year. This is a process wherein the schools review the learners' academic performance and determine their status, including promotion, retention, graduation, awards, and intervention. So yan, no, binabanggit lang natin ito, pointing out that these are the acceptable processes, no, na ginagawa po sa ating mga paaralan. Okay? So, ano po ba yung mga bago dito na gusto natin na i-point out? Of course, yung tinatawag natin na developmentally appropriate practice, no? This is an approach to teaching and assessment that aligns with the learner's developmental stages, considers individual differences, and responds to social and cultural context. So this is for our teachers na whenever we craft yung mga assessment materials and particularly on the summative assessment, you have to take note, no, of the adherence to the developmentally appropriate practice, especially when it comes to the assessment. And of course, yung SRU model, no, it's a formative assessment process involving the stages of elicit. So it's another acronym. Oh, ano pa bang bago sa DepEd? May panibagong acronym na naman tayo na babanggitin, the SRU model. E stands for elicit, S stands for student response, and R for recognize, and then U naman ay use. No, yan. Through which teachers gather and use evidence of learning to adjust instruction and support learners. So, in a very simple manner, ang gusto lang nating banggitin dito pagdating sa SO model is that you really have to look into the responses of the learners, the level at which kung gaano niya naintindihan yung topic in order for you to adjust instruction as needed, no? Kapag alam natin na yung learning competency ay na-satisfied na natin on that particular topic, then we need to move on to the next, no? Pero pag hindi naman ay kinakailangan natin na mag-adjust ng instruction natin para suportahan natin yung ating mga learners. So, kumbaga tantamount to saying na ito nire-recognize natin, no, yung individual differences ng ating mga estudyante within our classroom, no? So napaka-ideal, no, sir, napaka-ideal naman yan, no? Well, yan talaga kasi yung kailangan natin na bigyang diin, no, and on how you can be able to manage that inside your classroom. That would be the making of a kind of a great teacher you are, no? Kung paano natin gawin ito, considering the number of yung class size natin and so on, no? I know that I can feel ng mga teachers na they're already thinking a lot of things, and then isinasabay pa dito itong mga kung paano nga pa gagawing mas responsive, no, yung ating mga assessment materials. Okay? And then of course, yung examination. So, later on, makikita natin na yung QA in the old guidelines ay napalitan na ngayon ng EX, no? X's, no? So, yung examination, no? These are assessments collectively referring to the summative test and the term examination. So, yung examinations ngayon, WWPT and EX ay nagre-refer po dito sa ating examination na binubuo ng dalawang klase, yung tinatawag natin na ST, which is a summative test, and then the TE naman na tinatawag natin na term examination. Later on, we will be looking at the details of which para makita natin mabuti kung anong laman ng mga yan. Okay. Then of course, initial grade. This is a computed raw grade based on the weighted scores. In the sample computation, makikita natin yan. Integrative assessment, it's an approach where a single performance task integrates multiple competencies or learning areas, enabling learners to demonstrate holistic understanding and the application of learning. Ito yung binabanggit ko because in my, of course, yung humble opinion, no? With all the different subjects available, tapos magbibigay tayo ng performance sa ating mga estudyante, it's very important that it should be strategic, no? So that you can test, you can evaluate, or you can assess different learning competencies in one or two settings lang, no? Na hindi na overburden naman yung ating mga estudyante. Kasi nga, baka kung sinabi ng guidelines ay meron kang 2 to 3 na performance task, no? And then you multiply that to the number of subjects na meron ng mga estudyante. So in one particular term, talagang napakadami, no? Yung performance tasks that they are going to accomplish. So if the assessment, particularly on the performance task, will be thought of very carefully by the master teachers or the different teachers working together, then nagkakaroon ngayon ng yung tinatawag natin na integrative assessment. So it's a collaborative thing on the part of the learner, so that on the part of the teachers, so that they can provide the quality assessment, especially on performance task, na kaya na nilang makapag-evaluate ng multiple learning competencies in one particular activity alone. Okay? Sige. So, numerical grading system, well, you'll be looking at that later on. So, magbibigay tayo ng sample dyan mamaya. Itong summative assessment, ito yung binabanggit ko kanina na in the old guidelines, WWPT and QA yan. QA stands for quarterly assessment. But this time, in this particular instance, yung summative assessment ngayon will be composed of written or oral works, WW pa rin yan, PT, product or performance task. So it's not only referring to the performance itself. So ngayon, inelaborate na yan. Ha? Pwede na yung product, pwede na yung performance. Pwede, para mong sinabi na process-oriented and product-oriented yung performance task. No? And then yung examination or the excess, no, na binubuo nga ng summative test and yung ating term examination. Speaking of the summative test, ito yun, is a form of summative assessment administered twice within the term to measure achievement of specific competencies within a defined instructional period. So according to the guidelines, there are two maximum, no, na summative test na pwedeng ibigay in one particular term at saka isang term examination naman. So meron kang summative test, meron ka din pong term examination. So dalawang ST at saka isang term examination. In terms of the percentage distribution, makikita natin later on in the guidelines na meron ka na pong distribution na 30-30-40. Kumbaga, merong weighted distribution din kung gaano kabigat yung dalawang summative test and that of the term examination. Okay? Ito ang kailangan natin na maintindihan mabuti kasi syempre na-release na ito, no? And then of course we have to anticipate this already that the current transmutation scheme na gagamitin po natin for the school year 2026-2027 ay magagamit pa rin natin. Pero you have to take note, pagdating po ng 2027-2028, mai-implement na yung tinatawag natin na zero-based grading system. So it's a system in which the computed grade is reported directly without transmutation or the grade conversion. No? So mula yan sa case stage 2 hanggang case stage 4. So very critical po yan. So ibig sabihin po nito mga fellow teachers natin, no? To all of us mga kapitek, no? Ang zero-based grading system ay gagamitin na po natin by the following school year. Ang ibig sabihin nito, yung transmutation, gagamitin lang natin ngayong taon na ito, no? 2026-2027. Pagkatapos niyan ay hindi na po tayo gagamit ng transmutation kasi pupunta na tayo sa zero-based na grading system. Okay? Ayan. So, tignan natin. Siyempre, may policy statement yan, but I will not go over that anymore. So, you have to read on that for the items 8, 9, 10, and 11. No? So, again, we are going to point out only yung mga importante dito na alam ko na magiging very practical sa atin pong mga fellow teachers. Okay? So, in-emphasize dito yung classroom-based assessment, no, shall be an integral part of the teaching and learning consisting of the formative and the summative components that support the learner progress, guide instruction, and evaluate the achievement of learning standards. It shall align with the curriculum standards and essential learning competencies and generate valid evidence of what learners know and are able to do. So, speaking of the classroom-based assessment, since ang ibinibigay sa atin ay meron tayong budget of work na kung saan nakapaloob yung tinatawag natin mga LCs or mga learning competencies, it's very critical that for our teachers to understand and put into practice the process of unpacking, no? Napaka-importante po ang pag-unpack, no? Pag nag-unpack po tayo ng ating mga learning competencies, you have to be very, very careful, no? So, lahat po ng ating mga fellow teachers na nakikinig ngayon, tandaan po natin na ang classroom-based assessment ay syempre nakasalalay yung effectiveness nito kung nakita po natin ng tama, no, at na-develop natin yung mga kinakailangan po ng mga learning competencies. In order for these learning competencies to be developed appropriately and maituro ng tama sa ating mga estudyante, ay kailangan ay yung mga prerequisite skills na target natin, no, so that it will lead to the full development, no, ng ating learning competency. Siyempre, huwag kakalimutan na kapag nagka-craft tayo ng assessment material, ang ating pong mini-measure ay yung learning competency, no? Paalala lang po kasi baka nag-a-unpack po tayo when we do unpacking, that's for the purpose of the instruction, no? But of course, pagdating ng ating assessment, ang ating i-assess ngayon ay yung mismong learning competency. Okay? Hindi po yung na-unpack. Alright? Yan lang, paalala lang po. Baka, syempre, baka makalimutan po natin yan at we always have to go back. Alam naman natin na nagpiprepare tayo ng TOS para dyan. Okay? Formative assessment tayo. In the formative assessment, we know for a fact that this is the one embedded in daily instruction, no? And napakarami ng mga possibility ng mga pagbibigay, no, ng formative assessment. I will not bore you with that, but just tandaan lang natin na when we do formative assessment, it will never be graded. No? It will never be graded. It will only be used to inform instruction and to make necessary decisions, whether you're going to reteach, you're going to move forward to the next topic, or kailangan pa bang magbigay ng mga enrichment or additional activities para sa ating mga estudyante. Okay? So formative assessment shall be used to monitor learning progress but shall not be used for the grade computation. Only the summative test po ang ating gagamitin for grade computation. Okay? Teachers shall apply formative assessment processes such as the SRU cycle to gather evidence of learning and adjust instruction accordingly. Okay? So in this particular table, makikita natin, no, yung mga application ng developmentally appropriate manner. So meron kang key stage dito, developmental practice, and then the sample of formative tasks or practices. So basically this table will give you just have to look at how the different key stages, no, will be different in terms of how formative assessment can be implemented. So magkakaroon siya ng different variations para sa key stage 1 na binubuo po ng kindergarten hanggang grade 3. So the developmental principle na kailangan nating tandaan dito is that developmentally appropriate, play-based, experiential, and progressively structured child-centered learning. Ito po yung mga different examples. For key stage 2 naman, that's for grades 4 and 6. Nandyan po yung gradual introduction of structure and learner agency. Okay, nandyan na yung learning logs and journals and so on. Pagdating po ng key stage 3, ito yung junior high school, grade 7 to 10, that is binibigay na yung emphasis on critical thinking and reasoning. Okay, na analytical writing, debates, problem-solving tasks can already be embedded or primarily implemented as the assessment material. And finally, for key stage 4, that's for grades 11 and 12, our senior high school, it is already anchored on the application into real world and the disciplinary rigor. Okay, so ito yung term na ginamit po natin, no, for the developmentally appropriate formative practices across the different key stages. So, fellow teachers, check on that. Ibig sabihin po, kapag tayo nagbibigay ng mga formative assessment, we can anchor na our activities na ginagawa dito po sa different suggested activities under ng ating table number 1. Okay? Well, for the summative naman, ang summative assessment shall evaluate learner achievement at defined points in the curriculum such as at the end of the lesson sequence or a term. No? So take note ha, itong written works na ito or oral works, ito yung bumubuo ng WW, ito lamang po yung mag-appear na numero sa ating mga report cards. No? Performance or product task and examinations or excess. Okay? So yan po yung mga components natin ngayon. So again, ang gusto lang natin na-emphasize dito is that yung WW, halos walang pinagkaiba ito dun sa old guidelines, ganun din yung PT. Ang medyo may malaking difference lang dito sa may excess. No? Ito yung dati QA in the old guidelines, quarterly assessment kung tawagin natin yan. Pero ngayon, excess na. Okay? Binubuo ito ng ST, summative test, and then yung term examination. So, ilang summative test yan? Dalawa. Ilang term examination? Isa. Ano ang distribution nila? 30, 30, 40. So, there will be 30% for the first ST, another 30% for the second ST, and 40% naman for the term examination. Okay? So, yan yung mga ano, I will not, of course, you can always go back now with this step order. Ah, i-highlight lang po natin yung mga importante na mga parts. So anyway, it is recommended naman na sa lahat po ng ating mga teachers diyan, you should have a copy of this, no? Meron dapat kayong kopya para nang sa gano'n ay nasusundan po natin, no? So lahat po ng mga importanteng mga guidelines dito. Okay? So, ito yung recommended, no? Ito yung recommended. For grades 4 to 12, teachers handling specific learning areas shall be guided by the approximate lang naman, no? Assessment ranges indicated in table number 3 to ensure sufficient evidence of learning while maintaining manageable assessment pacing and avoiding assessment overload. So, halimbawa, yung WWPT and XS for grades 1 to 3, sinasabi dito that teachers have the discretion on the quantity of sufficient assessments needed to gather evidence while ensuring a manageable amount to avoid assessment overload. On the other hand, for grades 4 to 12, ang recommended na written works ay nasa 3 to 5 per learning area per term. Ang PT naman ay 2 to 3 per learning area per term. And then excess naman ay 2. At for excess, 3 ang composition nito. We have 2 STs and then 1 TE. Okay, per learning area per term. So hindi naman nagbago 'yan. Ang dito lang sa ST, for ST, may recommendation na dapat after 15 days ay magbibigay na tayo ng ating first ST. No? Nagbibigay na tayo ng first summative test. Okay? Ano yung recommendation dito sa summative test na ito? Ang summative test ay meron kasing recommendation din yan as to the number of items eh. Makikita natin later on dito, I think sa susunod na ito, no, dito na siya. The number of items for TE per key stage is presented in the table 4. So yan, with the TOS. No? So makikita natin dito na kung paano yung distribution niya. Under the item number 29, no, meron siyang general rule na binigay dito that the number of items in each ST shall not exceed half of the total items in the TE. Okay, so ibig sabihin nito, kung meron kang number of items, no, for the TE, like 60 for example, ang ST mo dapat ay hindi siya lalagpas sa 30 items. So, for grades 11 and 12, kung ito yung term examination, 60 items, for example, yung recommended, kailangan ang ST mo dito ay nasa 30 lang, max. Okay, you only have around 30. So, ito naman, kalahati, 25. 40 items naman ay 20. Okay? So, for the term examination, minsan lang namang i-administer ito. And then for summative test naman ay 2 beses ang pag-administer. So in every time that you administer that, every after 15 days, ang recommendation, for example, ay hindi ka lalagpas ng kalahati doon sa total number ng term examination. Alright? For the inclusion practice, all learners with disabilities shall be provided with appropriate assessment accommodations to ensure equitable access to classroom assessment. This may include adjustments in time, format, setting, and response modes, and so on. So you have to take note of that. All right. So yun yung mga bagay-bagay, and of course, no, the ethical use of artificial intelligence and technology in assessment. So meron nang naunang DepEd order dito na ipinalabas ang ating DepEd, which is the DepEd order number 3, series of 2026, na ito yung foundational guidance on artificial intelligence in the basic education. So the use of the digital tools, including AI, shall uphold the integrity of assessment and shall be governed by the following principles. Okay, so authenticity of evidence, alignment with the learning area or the learning intent, transparency and disclosure, equity and access, data privacy and protection. Yan yung mga binibigyang diin, no, dito po sa ating use of the AI. And speaking of which, no, meron din tayong ibinigay na guide, no, kung paano natin po pwedeng magamit. So may mga cases that of course we prohibit, may mga times din naman that we allow yung limited use. So dito sa item number 36, binibigyan tayo ng guidelines, no? To ensure clarity and consistency, teachers shall classify assessment tasks according to the following AI use categories. Ano ba ito mga categories na ito? Una, prohibited AI use in assessment. Kailan ito? Tasks requiring independent recall, reasoning, or performance tasks including the excess, supervised assessments, and in-class writing. So prohibited po yung paggamit dyan ng AI. AI use is not allowed. Unauthorized use may constitute academic misconduct subject to school policies. Kailan ginagamit yung limited use? Tasks requiring learner thinking and contextual application. So AI may support grammar, translation, vocabulary, brainstorming, and initial research, not for generating full outputs. So baka naman kasi yung buong research na ay AI generated, no? AI must must be disclosed, no? On the use of the tools, anong prompts ang mga ginamit. Kailan naman yung guided AI use, no? Kapag ito ay complex tasks, no, requiring higher order thinking, kagaya ng analysis and problem solving. So recommended ito for key stage 3 hanggang key stage 4. So parang ito'y para sa mga junior and then the senior high school. Okay? So nire-recognize na yan ha, mga ka-PTEC. So you have to take note of those mga terms, no, dahil from time to time ay magagamit at gagamitin na po natin ang mga ito. Okay? Ano pa? Siyempre, ayan, so basahin lang natin itong table 6 na yan. AI used by teachers in assessment design. Prohibited AI use in design, determining the final grade, replacing professional judgment, bypassing curriculum alignment, and so on. So you just have to look at that. Pagdating po dito sa reminders lang naman po yan sa atin. Okay? Grading system. Tingnan natin yung grading system. No? So we go to the grading system. Well, we're now through with some of the provisions under the assessment. So we now go to grading. So pagdating naman sa grading ay syempre magkakaiba yan for key stage 1 hanggang key stage 4. Okay? So for key stage 1, kindergarten to grade 3. Tandaan nito ha, a descriptive grading system shall be implemented to reflect learners' developmental progress and support foundational learning. Descriptive, which is non-numeric grade, shall be used in reporting learner performance through the progress report. Table 7 presents the descriptive grading system for kindergarten, while Table 8 naman for grades 1, 2, and 3. So ito yung for kinder, meron kang letter grade na C, O, DB, and the BG. Alright? Consistent kapag CO, developing kapag DB, and then BG naman kung beginning. So, okay? So, yan yung mga letter grades na matatanggap ng ating mga kinder. Pagka grades 1 to 3 naman, A, B, C, D, E. No? A for advancing, B for benchmarking, C for connecting, D for developing, and E for emerging. Yan. So yan naman po yung mga descriptive rating for grades 1, 2, and 3. Okay, tandaan natin itong link na yan, no? You can actually get, no, yung ating tracking our progress for kindergarten, a comprehensive assessment guide for teachers. Okay? Medyo marami ito ha mga kapitik, nasa 60 pages po ang laman nito, and of course, kailangan nating isa-isahin. So bear with me dahil medyo marami pa po ito, no? And this is for you to of course look at the assessment properly and the grading at the same time. Okay? Class records shall be maintained primarily as qualitative documentation when numerical equivalents are required for system level reporting. Okay. So what will happen naman to key stage 2 hanggang key stage 4? This will be from grade 4, 4 to 6, 7 to 10, and then 11 to 12. So the numerical grading system shall remain in place. So may numerical na hindi magbabago yung numerical grade for grades 4 hanggang grade 12. With grades computed from the WW, PT, and then the XS. Using assigned weights specific to each learning area. So tingnan mabuti, kung ito ang learning area mo, ganito po ang distribution. English, Filipino, Math, Science, Araling Panlipunan, GMRC, and DE. Ang ating WW ay 20%, ang ating PT ay 50%, at ang ating XS ay 30%. Tandaan natin na itong XS na to, binubuo pa siya ng ST at saka ng TE. Okay? Yung ST, dalawa, at ang ating term examination naman ay isa. Okay? Then for the edukasyong pagpapantahanan and pangkabuhayan, the PTLE, music, or the MAPE, meron kang 20, 60, and 20. Okay? 20% WW, 60% ang PT, and then 20% po ang excess. Okay? Ganun pa rin, ang excess nito ay binubuo pa rin ng term examination and the summative test. Ilang items ulit yan? Hindi na lalagpas ng kalahati doon sa TE. And then kung ilang beses ay nasa 15 days, no? Pwede ka nang magbigay ng unang summative test. Itong item number 45, ito yung binabanggit natin na the excess component shall account for 30%, ST for another 30%, and then the TE for the 40% ng assignment po ng ating weight. Alright? So again, for senior high school naman, ito yung mga composition niya, no? Field exposure, senior high school, so you just have to follow the detailed specification na kapaloob po dito for the learning area, like subjects, 20, 50, 30. Pag field exposure, 15, 70, 15. Pag sports and health and wellness selective, 20, 60, 20. Research and design innovation, 40, 60. Ang Tech Pro ay 15, 65, 20, and then yung work immersion ay 20, 80. Kung makikita ninyo, ang electives ng research ay wala na siyang excess, ganun din po ang work immersion. So consolidated na yan dito kay WW and then the PT. Okay, take note of that, no, sa ating mga fellow teachers in the senior high school. For school year 26-27, gagamitin pa rin natin yung adjusted transmutation table, pero kagaya ng nabanggit ko nga kanina, yung 27-28 ay hindi na po siya gagamit ng transmutation table. Naka-zero base na yung ating grading system. Okay? Term grades shall be based directly on computed IGs without transmutation, with 75 as the minimum passing grade. Okay? Numerical grade shall be accompanied by qualitative descriptors, and of course, that will be based on the final grade. So the final grade in each learning area shall be computed as the average of TGs, okay, rounded to the nearest whole number. And a final grade of 75 or higher indicates that the learner has met the minimum standards, while learners with a final grade of 75 shall receive appropriate remedial intervention or academic support in accordance with this step-ed order. Ayan. So 90 to 100 will be advancing, 80 to 89 benchmarking, 75 to 79 ay connecting, 65 to 74 ay developing, and 0 to 64 naman ay emerging. No? Yan po yung category ng mga descriptors natin. It depende sa kanilang final grade. The general average shall be computed by averaging the final grades in all learning areas taken through the school year and shall likewise be expressed as a whole number. So wala na po tayong mga decimal values, whole number na po, no, yung ating figure na ibibigay. Okay. Sige. Transition for KS1, syempre, this will be for 26-27 ngayon, descriptive, numerical, and numerical. For the 27-28, descriptive pa rin ang grade 1, descriptive ang grade 2 and then numerical ang grade 3. Pero pagdating ng 28-29, lahat ng nasa key stage 1 po ay descriptive na po lahat yung grading system. Alright? Ayan. So, tignan po natin no, yung mga sample. Actually, dito meron na rin tayong sample na report card. Okay, so may transition lang yung key S1 dyan, yung pinapakita natin. So we have here the learner performance shall be reflected in the learner's progress report using the descriptive indicators and narrative remarks instead of the numerical grades. Okay? So SF time pa rin po, walang pinagbago dun sa ginagamit natin ng mga different terms po. Alright. We now go to promotion, intervention, and the learner support. Ayan. So promotion, intervention, and learner support shall be guided principle that assessment results inform instruction, provide appropriate support, and promote continuous improvement rather than serving as punitive measures. No? Schools shall ensure that promotion decisions are supported by systematic interventions and appropriate accommodations across all the key stages. Okay, again, developmentally appropriate and non-punitive for key stage 1. Alright. And then promotion decisions shall consider the learner's overall progress. Tingnan natin yung item number 74. Ito. Importante din tong item 67. No? Promotion shall consider both academic and participation in the required interventions. So learners shall be promoted upon satisfactorily passing all the learning areas in the previous grade level. So pag walang grade below 75, then passing na yon. No? Learners who fail in at most 2, maximum of 2, no, shall undergo the summer remedial class or the SRC. Summative assessments administered during the SRC shall be recorded and computed in the same manner as the term grade, resulting in the remedial class mark. The FG and the RCM shall be averaged to obtain the recomputed final grade. Parang ganun pa rin sa dati, no? Walang pinagkaiba. Kapag dalawang beses number ka and then kinuha rin yung equivalent grade, that would be based on the recomputed final grade. Kagaya pa rin ng dati yung pag-compute po natin. Learners who still fail in 1 or 2 learning areas shall, after the SRC, shall be conditionally promoted. They may enroll in higher level learning areas they have already passed while completing deficiencies as PAC subjects through school-initiated intervention. So maganda itong binigay dito ngayon na pwedeng magbigay ng school-initiated intervention para maihabol yung bata. So only 1 back subject per term shall be allowed. So halimbawa, 2 yung sinamar niya, hindi niya naipasa yung isa, back subject na yung hindi niya naipasa, pero promoted na, ilagay na natin siya sa susunod na grade level. So anong mangyayari dun sa isa na naiwan niya, bigyan na natin ng SII, School Initiated Intervention. No? The passing RFG shall be required to clear each back subject. For senior high school naman, failure in the prerequisite subject shall prevent enrollment in the higher level subjects until the learner obtains a passing RFG through the SRC or successfully completing the prerequisite as a back subject. Kapag more than 2 yung bagsak ng bata, automatically retained na siya doon the same grade level. Pareho pa rin yan according to the DepEd Order number 8, series of 2015. Alright? Sige. So, awards and recognition, in the basic education shall affirm learner growth, integrity, and sustained effort. Siyempre, binibigyan natin ng recognition nito. So for key stage 1, no academic award shall be conferred in line with the descriptive grading system. Learner progress shall be communicated through descriptive assessments and narrative feedback. Ayan. Avoiding early competition and labeling. So meron din siyang character traits award na binibigay. For learners in the key stage 2 to 4 who obtain a general average of 90 or higher with no final grade below 80 in any learning area shall receive the Academic Excellence Award. So yun lang, yung wala kang ibang award na ibibigay na may with high honors, with highest honors, and so on. Hindi na, no? So kapag ang grade niya ay 90 or higher, at wala siyang final grade below 80 in any learning area, bibigyan siya ng Academic Excellence Award. Awarders shall be listed alphabetically to promote fairness and minimize competition and must have no derogatory records or disciplinary cases within the school year. Okay? So ito, malaki yan kapag nagkaroon siya ng mga disciplinary cases, magaling pero nagkakaroon ng problema sa behavior, for example, please take note of that. That could mean that hindi siya pwedeng bigyan ng kanyang o i-confer ng kanyang academic excellence award. And this table will also point out different awards and recognitions na pwedeng ibigay, kagaya ng leadership excellence, excellence in a specific learning area. You can look at the description here. You will be guided naman over that. So meron kang excellence in different areas like work immersion, field exposure, and arts apprenticeship. Excellence in research, excellence in design and innovation, and special recognition awards. So medyo broad itong pagka-describe dito, no, granted to learners who bring honor to the school through distinction in recognized competitions, contests, exhibitions, or similar endeavors at the division, regional, national, or international levels in academic, technical, professional, cultural, or athletic fields. So medyo generous, no, itong special recognition awards na yan. Sa tingin ko diyan marami kang pwedeng bigyan diyan. Kung principal ka ay nakikita mo na yan ang pupwedeng maraming mga areas na pupwedeng bigyan ng award. Schools may issue certification of actual academic rank upon formal written requests to support college applications or other academic requirements. Okay? Ayan. So, dito naman, yung mga roles, I will not go over that. Itong mga roles na yan kasi for monitoring purposes na yan, from the CO to the RO to the STO, papunta ng school. Okay, so importante dito that this DepEd order will have to be included in the learning action cell so that matuloy-tuloy yung build natin, no? And if you have other questions, you can point it out. Ilagay natin sa ating chat box or dito sa ating mga comment section para mabigyan natin ng linaw sa mga susunod po na mga videos natin. Okay? So yan. So essentially, yun lang po yung mga kinover ko, no? And yung mga susunod naman na dito ay mga attachments na. This will be for the different references. Ayan. So yung Annex A niya, Supplemental Guidance on the Classroom Assessment, dinidiscuss dito yung SRU, no? So I will not bore you with that kasi gusto ko na ipakita lang sa inyo na you can read naman itong si SRU kung paano nga ba tayo makapag-isip, no, ng tamang mga formative assessment results that will also provide guidelines as to how we can improve, no, our instruction. So SRU model. Ayan. Elicit student response and then recognize student responses and then use itong mga student responses na ito. Hindi yung the practice kasi kung tapos na yung formative assessment ay bahala na gang, no? Wala ka nang gagawin doon. So ano yung nire-remind lang sa atin dito, fellow teachers, nire-remind lang tayo na kapag ka nagbigay tayo ng formative assessment, we just have to make use of the data to inform our instruction. To guide our decision as to how we can improve our instruction. Okay? Sabi ko nga palagi isang the information na pinoprovide ng ating assessment results ay dalawang double-edged sword palagi yan, ano? Una, pinapakita nito gaano kagaling yung mga estudyante natin at pangalawa, pinapakita nito gaano kagaling yung ating mga teachers. Okay? Pero kabaliktaran nito, kung mahina naman at mababa yung result, ito yung nagpapakita din ng kahinaan ng ating mga estudyante sa learning competency na yon. At the same time, you have to recognize that nagpapakita din ito ng kahinaan nating mga teachers sa pagtuturo. No? We have to recognize that, otherwise, kung hindi natin tinitignan na meron din tayong fault in terms kung paano natututo yung ating mga estudyante, ay hindi natin mabibigyan ng solusyon, no, yung ating mga problema sa educational system po natin. Okay? Yan yung ating SRU. Alright. And then of course, yung susunod na natin will be yung Annex B and C, particularly for Annex, ano ba ito? Yan. So yung Annex C natin, We will be covering yung ating assessment during emergencies, no? So in a separate DepEd order nito, meron naman na ito no na naipalabas kasabay nitong grading system at we will have to focus that no? Kasi medyo marami na tayong na-cover ngayon. We will include that in the next video po para mas malinaw po sa ating lahat yan. Okay? Ayan, assessment in flexible learning options, yan, and so on. Okay? Support for teachers for integrative. No? You just have to look for the different annexes and then of course, kung paano natin gagawin yung ating computation. Ay no naman na meron na tayong mga nakuha no ng mga iba't ibang mga nakuha na natin po yung iba't ibang mga how do you call that? Yung electronic na mga class records na po pwede din po natin na magamit. Right? Sige. Kung meron po kayong mga katanungan mga kapitek ay comment down below na lang at ilagay po natin dyan sa ating comment section upang sa ganun ay maging basis po natin for the discussion for the upcoming mga videos. Alright? Maraming salamat mga kapitek for tuning in and of course sana ay nabigyang linaw po natin yung ibang mga bagay-bagay para patungkol po dito sa ating DepEd Order number 15 series of 2026. Muli po, maraming salamat. Ako po si Sir Willie at ito po ang inyong Polaris Training and Education Consultancy, the PTEC Training Center. Maraming salamat at magandang araw po sa ating lahat.